It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock. Oh, we're going to be, I keep telling you guys, this rush to have a Article 5 Constitutional Convention is heating up. We've been talking about it for a while. We got someone on who's going to tell us all about it. Now, Paul Antinori is on. He's an attorney from Florida. He's been elected, as an attorney, in Florida before. He's been appointed by the governor to this thing and that thing. He's been involved in politics. He's argued both sides of the aisle in the courtroom. He's been a prosecutor and defense attorney, and he's got, the boy's got some skills. He's been around. Well, he's been an attorney 50 years, so he's been around a while. Now, he has a website, and it's Action to Amend the U.S. Constitution. So the site is amendusconstitution.com. Okay? amendusconstitution.com. Now, I got you there, Paul?
Yes, Ernest, I'm here. I'm honored to be on your show.
I want to, we've been talking about this before, and I want to get, I'll tell you some little bit background so you can see where we're going with this. There is an organization here called the Goldwater Institute. Now, Goldwater Institute, they claim to be conservative and libertarian, and they, whatever. But about a year ago, they came out, not even that long ago, they came out saying, the fear of a constitutional convention, nothing to worry about, nothing to see here, move right along. There was no threat of it being run away. There's no threat of, something happened. And I asked them why. And they go, well, because, the states got to ratify and they're all good, and good states wouldn't ratify bad constitution. That would never happen. So I'm going, okay. So I want to go ahead and first, let's go ahead and talk about what it is that you would want to accomplish by opening up the Constitution to a convention. And then are there legitimate fears that people might have and what those might be? Let's go ahead and talk about why you advocate doing it. What is it you want to accomplish?
Okay, great, Ernest. We want to amend two clauses primarily. They are in Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. One is the Commerce Clause, which reads, Congress shall have power to regulate commerce among the states and with foreign nations and with the Indian tribes. The second clause is the General Welfare Clause, also found in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. It says Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes and provide for the general welfare. Now, that clause is more familiar to people if you call it the spending clause, because that's what people call it. Our leaders in Washington refer to it, the spending clause. What they're talking about really is specifically the general welfare clause. Those two clauses have been corrupted. You asked me, what do I want to amend? My answer is the Commerce Clause and the Spending Clause. How have they been corrupted? Well, take the last 75 years. Over the past 75 years, beginning in 1937, the Supreme Court of the United States, whose function it is under the Constitution to interpret and apply the law, has gone a step further and actually amended the Constitution by the judicial stroke of a pen. So in 1937, when the Supreme Court was confronted with the Commerce Clause in the Jones and Lockman Steele case, for example, Ernest. The issue was, can Congress go inside a factory, a manufacturing plant, an industry, your store, your warehouse, your shop, your farm, and say you must deal with unions and collective bargaining agents who are employed by you in your factory or your shop, and you say, wait a minute, the Constitution doesn't allow you to mandate that on me. That's the prerogative of the states. I live in a state. The state government has the right to control labor management relationships, but not you, Washington.
Well, I would say the states don't either, but we'll let that go.
Well, the states do and have always. But, of course, it's been usurped by Washington. So now the Jones and Lockton Steel case, the Supreme Court said, well, you know what? Even though the Constitution simply says Congress shall have power to regulate interstate commerce, and commerce, the word commerce from day one, 220 years ago, to the present day is still defined the same. Look at all your modern dictionaries. It hasn't changed. It means interstate trade, buying and selling. But now the Supreme Court says we're going to allow Congress to go beyond that point. We're going to allow Congress to regulate anything that could remotely, indirectly affect interstate commerce. Well, where does that leave us? That leaves us with the parameters bounded by your creative imaginations. You can sit down and imagine just innumerable, and I have, and you could just list a litany of imaginative things that Congress could possibly regulate, and I've listed those things as examples, hypotheticals, in my essays on the Amend U.S. Constitution.
Okay, let me ask some questions here.
Yep.
I understand your point. It's broke. We can fix it. Let's open it up, fix it.
Yes.
And I'm just brought back to what they did with the Articles of Confederation. That's how we got the Constitution. You know, we're just going to tinker it a little bit. We're going to fix it. Boom. We got a whole new thing and the problems that we got now.
Yeah.
My problem is that in the Constitution, it actually says, power of eminent domain. If we want to, and we give whatever criteria, and then, of course, Supreme Court keeps changing to whatever they want. Anyway, we're going to take your property, get used to it. We're going to regulate commerce. We're going to tax people. We're going to, the power.
Sure.
What happened, of course, then you got Patrick Henry and, Mason, Paine and Jefferson, these guys, heck no. Heck, they did it while Jefferson's in France. So they go, we're going to do this central power thing a la Hamiltonian people. And they go, oh, heck no. You do this, another revolution, man. You're just violating the whole principles, Declaration of Independence, blah, blah, blah. So what do? They say, we're going to do this Bill of Rights thing, the 10 thou shalt nots of government. So that kind of held that off, and okay, you get your central plan here, but you can't do these things, but they do them anyway. So I'm looking at, we've had a lot of guests on that talking, law professors and on, and it goes down like this.
Sure.
If you allow the government, the judicial branch, to judge their own actions, guess what happens? They will rationalize any and everything that they do. And I'm wondering give me some specific, it says shall not be infringed, or, you free speech and all this other stuff. They put you in a free speech zone and they keep taking away your guns. And I'm going, what point does this deal, this social contract we're supposed to be under, that I never signed, by the way, at what point does it become null and void? I mean, they expect me to, capitulate to this existence of this thing, and then they don't do any of their part.
Let me address that.
We're going to go into break a little bit. I just want to get my spiel in here. It's going to
very good.
So
sure.
about 30-46. So remember where we're at here, because I want to make it clear when we come back.
Okay.
I want you to go ahead and address under what circumstances am I supposed to be confident that they're going to do anything that you specify, no matter how specific you get. Right. So I'm just, this is a great concern to me.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and we'll get that from Paul Antinori. Now, am I saying your name right?
Yes, Antinori, correct.
All right, Paul Antinori. He's advocating for opening up the Constitution for a convention so we can fix it. And I'm like, man, that's what happened last time, and I'm not confident it's going to get fixed. But maybe he's got a plan we'll hear about when we come back here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and my special guest, Paul Antinori. We'll be right back.